Seconds.
Okay.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of MrsPinky Thoughts. I am your host, Nicole Pinkston, and with us today we have Miss Jona Malva. Is that how we say your name? Did I get it right? I think I did. Gia Malva. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to butcher your name, but I think I did a pretty good job there.
That's okay. It happens all the time.
I heard my last name. My name is Nicole Pinkston, and people will be saying Pinkerton and Pinkyton and all this Kingston and stuff. So I understand too.
That makes sense.
Yes. So before we get into our topics for today, I just want to let you guys know that my name is Ms. Pinky Thoughts over at Twitter, and I also have all of my social media information for you guys that you can see around the edges. If you feel blessed for being a part of the show, you can please donate $10 or more to my Cash App at $MrsPinky85, or also donate to my PayPal at the top of the screen. PayPal me Mrs. Pinky 85, and all of my social media content is at the bottom: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and also don't forget, this is also part of the consciousconservativemedia.net that you can subscribe to for free. And also make sure you like and subscribe this channel and share it with all your friends out there. So let's get started. How are you doing tonight? Are you doing okay tonight?
I'm doing good. It's getting cooler here in Arizona, so we are getting happier with each passing day.
Awesome. I know you guys have a lot of hot weather and temperatures out there. And we have humidity in Georgia, but I know it's a little bit different than what you guys experience. So the reason that I had you on the show today is because I saw you had an awesome tweet. You were talking about your organization that you started as a mom, and I guess you just got fed up with everything that's been going on like the rest of us. And instead of just, sitting back and doing nothing, you decided to get involved. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and, your political leanings a little bit before we talk about the organization, just so we can get some background?
Yeah, I'm a lifelong conservative. I would say, I started out as an independent just because I didn't know the difference. But my first vote was for Ronald Reagan when he ran for the second time. So I've always been conservative. I've always voted. I was raised that voting is important. You vote. My parents were very secretive about their votes, but they made it clear that you show up and you vote. So I've always been a faithful voter. And then we're originally from Portland. My parents were Democrats, but they voted, I think they voted for Jimmy Carter twice, which was silly. My mom says she doesn't understand why she did it the second time. But because they were small business owners, Reagan's policies did so much for them. I don't know that either of them have ever voted for a Democrat since then, since the late 70s. So they're more of the Kennedy Democrats. But once I reached around 20, I registered as a Republican. I've always been a Republican, just because that's the side, even though I'm not always happy with them, that's the side that I more identify with. So there aren't a lot of options. So it was weird living in Oregon as a Republican. It just felt like a real battlefield all the time. Even though I was a native, people just do not like conservatives. Then we moved to Arizona in 95, and that felt a little more comfortable. And at that point, I'm trying to think, when I was in Portland, once I had my first child, I had time at home and I started listening to Rush Limbaugh. And that's when it kind of crossed over from just being a good voter to trying to understand the system and trying to understand the process and pay closer attention to what people were saying, and not really just what they were saying or trying to tell you, but what they really meant, and why are they using different words carefully. Just a little more interested in the stuff they're trying to sell on us. So that's when I got more involved, but I was very busy raising kids. I have 5 kids. I was homeschooled for 18 years. And we didn't get too active until, I think, the Tea Party movement. We showed up very first meeting in Phoenix. And it was funny because we showed up and a lot of friends just happened to be there too, even though we had not discussed it beforehand. So a couple of friends and I tried to get something going. But we all had issues with our kids or families, and one of my dear friends that we were working together, she backed off of the general politics, and her son has a mental illness, and so she specifically now focuses on that and advocates for that. But it's not that we became less active, we just became more focused on different things. So that was just kind of the start, and that's what we've been doing. Now with this local group that I started, it's on the Next Door Neighbor app. And over the election time, I got off of social media. I did not want to see my friends fighting on Facebook, or I didn't want to see just the trolls on Twitter. So I took a break about 6 months long. But I did peek in on the Next Door Neighbor app because I just thought, well, maybe it's like Facebook Lite and I can kind of see local things that are going on. And after the election, well, first of all, we had our Arizona stuff going on. So there was that, and people were upset about that. But there was this guy in one of the conservative groups, and I swear he was a plant. I don't know if he's a real conservative, but he was so doom and gloom. He was just like, oh, that's it. We're going to be socialist. We're going to be communist. What's the point? I just can't live on that level. I'm an optimist, and I just feel like, let's go down fighting. Let's at least be in the fight till the last minute. And so I said to him, you're a real bummer. I'm going to start a group of conservative ladies, and we're going to take over the world. And his attitude, he said, well, good luck with that. Start a group, and I could only get 7 members. And I thought, well, I know why, but as a challenge. So I like, let's do this, girl. So I started a group, I think January 3rd, and we are currently up to 243 members, which is, we live in a town. It's a large town, but so the group is specific to our town. I didn't do a Greater Phoenix or Greater Arizona. I wanted to start at a very local level because I felt so discouraged by the election results. It just felt funny. If you looked around here and saw the signs and the bumper stickers and enthusiasm, it makes no sense that Biden won. It just, if you look, and so I want to keep voting. I don't want to feel as if my vote doesn't matter. And that's what was crossing my mind. Why am I doing this? Why do I do this faithfully for decades and decades if my vote's not going to matter? Because the system has become so corrupted that I actually don't have a voice. And I thought, at least at the local level, I can have a voice. I can show up, meet people, can, meet the mayor, the town council. So that's what we've been trying to focus on in our group, is show up at the town council meetings. Right now, we just need to learn how it works. And that's one thing that's been a shock to me, is how little I knew about how the local process works, much less the statewide process or the federal process. And so this is just a great place to start, because I can walk in to town hall and ask questions. I can't go to DC and walk into the Capitol and ask questions, but here I can. And I think every area in the country has local issues that need focus. And there's a lot of power in that, in starting at that level and just knowing this is where I can make a difference, and I can see that I'm making a difference quickly, that I don't have to wait for years to something to roll out, but I can see it happening in a murdered time. So we've been focusing on showing up at town council meetings, just taking good notes to just to understand there is so much that goes into running a local government. And there was so much I didn't know. So I feel like right now our group is just getting the groundwork laid. There are some ladies in our group that are very involved with the Arizona audit and things on that level. And I'm really grateful for them. They keep us on top of things. We can ask in the group, what's the latest, and they've got resources and can give us just a rundown. So we are paying attention to this state level stuff and showing up when we feel it's necessary. But our focus right now has been on our local government. And we just want to show up and let them know we are here, we are united, and we are paying attention.
Good. That is so great. A lot of people need to get involved. I tell people all the time, a lot of people talk about things they don't actually know. They go by like articles and stuff, which is good research, but eyes and ears on the ground is actually where you get that information. I tell people to go be a poll worker, go knock doors, go visit, your local either GOP, Democrat, it doesn't even matter. Like, talk to your mayor, go visit your reps, because people think it's one way because of social media, and it's not always like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the Arizona political culture? Because I've seen a couple of people saying that a lot of people don't understand the culture that is Arizona. Like, you guys had John McCain, who was always fighting Trump, and now you got Sinema, who's now fighting her party. You're like, wait a minute, they fighting in there against their own sides. And a lot of people say that's Arizona. Can you let us who never lived there or don't really know what you guys mean when y'all say that's how Arizona politics is? I think I might have lost you a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's I know that before we, am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Just make sure we're good. Okay. So
yeah, we're good.
Before we moved here, okay. And I know Arizona voted for Bill Clinton. So they go back and forth. We had a governor, Napolitano, who ended up being in Obama's cabinet. So it's hard to describe Arizona. That term maverick might actually apply. John McCain, I don't think he was a friend of conservatives. And I don't think that's because he did not love Arizona. I think he did love Arizona. But I think you're in Washington for that many decades, and maybe you lose sight of who you're serving and who you're representing. Now we have Kirsten Sinema, which is such an odd thing. And I've watched her through the years as she rose through the ranks, and she's a likable person. She's very savvy. And she's not unpleasant at all. I think she seems like a really nice person. And when she said she was going to run for senator, I just thought she will win. She just knows how to do this. So then now we've gone from having 2 Republican senators to having 2 Democrats in the matter of like 3 years or something. I mean, it just turned over really quickly. Now, Mark Kelly, he got it because he's Gabby Gifford's husband and he's an aunt, and but I don't know. I don't feel he's equipped for the job. But Kirsten Sinema is an interesting one because with what she is doing right now in bucking the trend with the Dems, so I presented in our group, hey, let's call, because I got from Freedom Works saying call her, and I thought, well, this is a great thing to tell the group. Let's call her. Let's email her. She's getting a lot of flack being followed in the restroom and all this stuff that Republicans have dealt with this whole time. Let's call her. Let's tell her we are backing her up. We appreciate her voting against the trend of that's right now. And just because we're Republicans doesn't mean we can't call a Democrat and express support when they're doing something that's like the right thing. So I'm a little surprised that when I posted that in our group, I didn't get a great response from, and I'm beaten by this whole Twitter, the rudeness. And we don't have to be rude.
You're going in and
We need
out.
to back
Oh,
up,
there we go.
really stopping consent without emotion towards people who are in it registered in a different party. So I feel like there's a lot of work to be left again after Biden was elected. Well, that's hard to do when you've been called a racist by these people, or a homophobe or a bigot. All this because on a level, the healing does need to begin in that need to not someone in the opposite party is doing something right. We need
So you're not just going along with party.
So I been, and if they're not going to do it, we can at least try.
I'm sorry, you cutting in and out. Let me see if I can get it back on. I think we're losing her.
Oh.
Yeah, you frozen for a minute there. We were talking about the infighting between the two sides when conservatives were being called bigots and racists and things like that. It was very hard to unite. But when you see someone like Sinema, who was actually not being nasty, how you're able to acknowledge that even though she might not be on your side. You want to try coming in and coming back out?
You're cutting out too a little, so it's kind of hard to hear your words.
Okay, I think can you hear me now?
Let me hear a list of questions. Send me a list of questions.
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it to you.
Every so often, I don't know if you're wearing a microphone or every so often.
Yeah, it's hold on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try my actual microphone.
Okay.
Sorry about the interruption. We're trying to fix the technical difficulties. We was talking about Kristen Sinema, the senator from Arizona. We're trying to get a feed on Jona's group. They're a women's group that are actually trying to change things in their local area, and they got together on Can you hear me now? I think it's your side that's going out now.
We have done we've had one in meeting person so far, where we all got, we hosted it at my house to get a list of email addresses and phone numbers, just in case we get booted from social media. You just don't know. So we're trying to connect a group that is going to meet with Matt Salmon. He is running for governor. Yes. For governor.
And you get together to try to work with him?
He's a good guy. And so we're having... Yeah, listen, he's a really nice man. We've been in my friends and I that were working in the Tea Party days, we've been in his office before. He's Andy Biggs took over that role after Salmon. And Andy Biggs did too. So in a place for Matt Salmon to come speak to them. And it's a group of ladies. We did have a couple of guy reporters trying to sneak in, and we've made it clear it's just going to be us this time. We want to be able to ask questions and trying to interview him. So we do want to hear him. We are doing these and meet with Carrie Lake. She is also running for governor. And she is a slave up until a couple months ago when she was one of the newscasters that said, I quit. I'm tired of being...
Oh, was she the one that was interviewed by Project Veritas?
Just gonna go. Pardon me?
Was she the one that was interviewed by Project Veritas, the one that quit live on the air?
We've been like, we don't need to hear from Carrie. She is, so she has short dark hair. There's been those young blonde ladies. Carrie is probably in her 40s. She's been doing this a long time. Drop out of her job. And pretty soon she said she's running for governor. But I thought to hear from her, and it's not look at one guy and say that's it, there's the person. I think it's reasonable to listen to anybody who's running. Point in listening to Carrie, and I think there is a point. I think there's a point in listening to everybody, just so you can know that you've heard all the a well-researched bond that they are trying to pass. I talked to him, we said that it makes sense. We thought we're going to vote. Well, I brought in the group. I said, tell me voting. And end up with information on both sides. But in the end, I've gone, you know what? It has to be a no. But that's what comes from nation. And so I don't think there's any harm in listening to people who you disagree with, or you read about listening to someone who has a different, might have a different point of view. That's it. You've got to be able to listen to people in order to prepare to be civil people who have different thoughts. So that there are a lot of people, they can't handle the idea of having friends who have totally different views than them. poison. No, it's not supposed to happen. So, so people to share candidates and feel like we're very educated on something before make a decision. But right now is and I feel like I'm the leader. I started it out of first, but everyone has a voice. You kind of be like moderator, the person that says it's okay, calm down and listen to everybody and not be so. Can't even do that in groups where we agree with one another. We just don't have any hope with being this attack. So that's kind of, I think there's some healing that needs to among people. We need to have fun together. We need to enjoy one another and have discussions. Even practice having amongst each other, because I feel like we've gotten out of practice of just kindness in our conversations.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties. I was going to see if you can try to go back out of the video and then come back. I'm going to remove you and see if you can come back in and see if we can get that fixed. You're still here. I just wanted to take you out of the screenshot and see if that would help. Can you hear?
Match your voice, so it's a little like the timing's off.
Okay, I don't know whose end it is. If I remove you, can you come back in? Is it working now?
Okay. I can see both of us now. Can you hear me?
Can you turn your camera off and see if this the audio, and then we can just have an audio discussion?
Try that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's frozen again.
It just seemed to delay. But same.
Okay, just go. You can go ahead and finish saying what you were saying, and maybe I'll just be quiet until you pause, and then we're gonna keep going from there. I'm sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. It could be the distance and everything. So you can go ahead and try again. And you were talking about how we need to work together and how we need to start uniting again.
Yeah, I think that happens at this level, at a local level. I think with COVID last year, it got weird. We couldn't get together, or we didn't. But I think very purposeful in knitting relationships together. I just kind of feel like something got broken as far as people being online too much, because that's what we had last year. Me on especially Twitter. But there's some good stuff there too. There's a lot of great people and great information. It's time to get with people to the extent. I know for me, most of my kids are adults. I'm in my 50s. I'm not wiping butts and running. Younger women who maybe are home with their kids can't do it. They're legitimately can't get out as much because they're doing something so important. So I encourage women who are my age. It's a weird age where our kids are leaving the house. Two of mine came back, but that's okay. They're adults and they're independent, except for that part. Us to apply ourselves to do the things we wanted to do all those years we were stuck at home. And so just there is power in doing stuff online if you're limited to that. But if you can get out and show up in person, let's do that. And so I just feel like my friends who are my age were looking around going, well, now what are we doing? All we did was kids for years. And that's a good time to look around your community and see if there are areas you can help, where you can have a voice. Our town, it's technically a city. It's like 270,000 people, but it's legal town. They need volunteers for the arts stuff, the development commission. There are a ton of you, even if you're not a degreed artist or, a developer, they need people who are local volunteers to have a say in things and pay attention. And that's what we need to start looking at what are some roles where I can be involved just to see what's going on and have a voice. If we're not paying attention, that's when all of the corruption can run wild. We have to have our noses everywhere if we can. We need to have people paying close attention to what is going on. Like I said, we can't get in Pelosi's face, which I wouldn't do anyway, but I can show up and sit here every 2 weeks while she talks, so she starts seeing, hey, there's this lady that shows up every time. And then the members of our group, our ladies group, have been starting to show up and start sitting together, and over time there's going to be a large group of us. And when it comes time for us to speak up, and it makes me I think of that book, the Saul Alinsky book, all the rules for radicals. And if we can do that, find a target and focus in together, we can start moving things for our town. One thing we are running into, a lot of unelected people having way too much power over things that affect the citizens of this one. And things happen where it's like, how did this, who did this? I didn't vote for this. And it's people that are just appointed to their positions or hired to and they which power. And I'm kind of upset with myself that I did show up a year ago, because there were some things that needed to before they happened, and now there's nothing we can do about certain things. Like, we got this just disgusting, stupid town logo, but it's already showing up on the signs and everything. And if I had been paying attention last year, I would have hauled a whole bunch of people down there and thrown a fit. And that's on me. I should have been showing up. Now I'm not going to make that mistake. So I just want to encourage people to show up if you can. Every local government has some meeting of some sort going on. And if they don't, they better want to. I think everyone has something they can show up at and make their voice heard. But being quiet about stuff is part of how we got into this mess in the first place. And when the whole mask then rolling into vaccines and vaccine mandates started happening, I just thought there is no place for us to be quiet anymore, because people who are being brave and speaking up are just being pummeled, and we can't stand there and go, ooh, I better be quiet, I don't want that to happen to me. That's just cowardice. We need to use our voices so that we strengthen those who are putting their necks on for the cause of freedom, and online and in person. So I just think find an extra way to get involved is something we all need to do, rather than sit on social media. But there are people who complain on social media, and they think they're doing something to help their cause. Like these woke people who rip other people down, but they're not showing up. They're not showing up at the soup kitchens. They're showing up to help the needy. And we need to be people who not only bring people's attention, but then find a way to gather people to address it. So I think that is making sense. I think everybody, if they have free time, maybe need to plan of, I will call a congressman once a day, or I'll show up at the town council meeting every 2 weeks, something like that.
Just doing something other than just being behind a computer screen, actually showing the force and the presence. I mean, we've seen all of the Trump rallies and the Trump parades and everything, and then people are wondering what happened. Did we have? I mean, if people think the election was stolen, that means more people voted. So where are those numbers at now? Not just at the polls, but where are the numbers of the independents or the people who stayed home? Where is everybody? And we need to show that presence up at these places, not just on the computer, because the computer is not all of the package. It's just a part of it. Am I losing you again?
That is such a good point, because man, if everybody that had gone to a Trump rally just showed up at their local, oh poo. But you're right. If you're at a Trump rally, the same enthusiasm, but without the hat. Just leave the hat, because you're just going to cause division. Am I still cutting out?
Yes. I'm sorry. Do you want to come? Can you come out and come back in, like when you came in the first time, and see if that helps?
Your voice is really choppy, so it's hard to get the word.
I'm sorry, you guys. We're having technical difficulties. Miss Jona is from Arizona, and I'm from Georgia, and so we're having a little bit of a thing right here. I'm gonna see if she can call me on audio, and maybe we can have finish this chat as a voice chat or a private chat, and we'll see if we'll be able to finish this, because she has a lot of good ideas, and she's actually doing the work. She's actually showing up in her community, and she's I'm trying to see if we can get some audio going here. Bear with me. Thank you guys for joining me on a new episode of Mrs. Pinky Thoughts. This is a channel inside of Conscious Conservative Media. If you are not a member or a subscriber to Conscious Conservative Media, please go over to www.conscious conservativemedia.net, and you can get a free account. It's also available on iOS and Android devices, so you can take it on the go, and you can also invite your own followers to join our network. We have over 14 channels with different content creators, a lot of newsletters, stories, blogs, and we also in real life grassroots organization that is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, as a part of the Felicia Killing Foundation. And we're going to have merch and a whole bunch of other stuff going on soon, so just bear with us. And I'm sorry that I'm having technical difficulties. Can you hear me now?
I can hear me.
I heard you, but it's still late.
Hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I heard you come in.
Okay. Is it bad? Yeah, it might be the distance from Georgia to Arizona.
I'm going to send you a phone call from my phone number, and then maybe you can call my phone, and then we could do it audio to finish up, because we only got like a little bit of time left. But let's see if I can. I sent you a message over Twitter. See if we can call my phone. Maybe we can go from there. Sorry if anyone's still listening. We're still here live. I'm just trying to.
Just a second.
She's going to try to call me in, and we're going to try to do this over the
office. So hang on, I'll find you.
She's going to try to call in, and then we're going to try to see if we can do it on voice. Sorry, we have such a. This is so excited too. I have somebody from Arizona who knows what's going on with cinema and knows about the audit, and she's actually working in her local community. So I'm trying to keep her on because we got information to get out to you guys. Hello?
Hi, this is Jona.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm gonna try to see if anybody else can hear you and see if your phone is if my phone is picking up over on this. You might have to mute me on your end, on your computer.
Okay. So what do I need to do with my phone in order? Let's see here. Let me adjust this. Okay. All right. What do you think? Does that work?
I think so. I'm hoping people can hear you from my phone.
I can hear myself on the screen, so this might actually be a better.
Okay. All right. So we was talking about you was trying to get everybody to get together and unify, trying to get involved in their local areas. So can you tell us a little bit of what you guys have been working on recently with your organization?
right now, what we are working on in our group is, well, the audit is kind of over as far as all the work, which a lot of our group were involved in the work, which is great. Now we are just working with the people who we like, our local representatives who are still involved in, I don't know, I honestly, I'm waiting for them to come out with the big report, but I think they're still compiling all the information. So that's going to take a while. They said it'd take about another month. So that's kind of something that's on hold as far as anything our group can do about it. What we're doing as a group, we are, right now we're discussing these big bonds that our town is trying to pass and just trying to help each other understand things. We're still kind of a new group, so what I would like to see is more people show up at the meetings. So I'm working on kind of rallying everybody to just show up, just so we have more of a presence. I don't want to come out and try to do something until we have the numbers to really push on something, which is when I was talking about the last year when the town came up with this logo, which looks like Elmo sucking on a lollipop or something. It has nothing to do with any of the history of our town. It's so depressing. We want to prevent that sort of thing from happening again. So if we can mobilize now and be ready, that's kind of what we're doing. We're mobilizing. We're just getting together, getting names, getting our numbers up. It can be discouraging for me. I look at the group and see all these numbers going up all the time. We have 244, I think. And then it's like, come on, if 10% would show up at the town council meeting, that would be great. So I think I need to help people show up. So I feel like we're new, but it's very doable, and it's very encouraging, especially after having an election in Arizona where we're all going, did my vote even get counted? Or was someone who came across the border, did they get to vote and I didn't? How did this work out? Because there was the whole Sharpie gate, which was legit. We were given Sharpies, which has never happened in Arizona before. I've been voting here for 25 years. So there are things I can't fix, but I can have a local things and show up and at least try. And the more people I can get excited about this, the better our chances are of pushing against what is going on right now. So I feel like people feel helpless, even though we have more tools at our disposal than any other generation has ever had. And people have to be careful not to allow themselves to be discouraged by social media, and be invigorated by the fight. Let's give it to them. Twitter is just a battleground of ding-dongs, and it can be such a discouraging place. The first time I spoke up about some of the stuff going on in Portland last year, I could not believe how many nut jobs bombarded me. And because I'm a Portland native and my family is still up there, one of my daughters lives there, my sister, she's like, it really bothered me. And I had to back off for a few days and go, okay, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to engage with people, I need to have thicker skin than this and be ready to take the fight right back to them. Not in a rude, calling them names kind of way, but I've looked into this, I've researched this, and it's not, and sometimes I'll call them out. I'm a 56-year-old woman, and if a 20-year-old's being rude, I'll say, you could have been a little more polite with that if you wanted to actually have someone listen to you.
That's one of the reasons I invited you on the show, because I saw some of it going on your page, and you were standing up about something else. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, right on. That's the attitude. I know a lot of people, when they see me on social media, they see I'm aggressive and stuff. It's because I'm trying to pump people up. I'm trying to get them to fight. I'm only one person. So what we're trying to do, and what I wanted to tell you, is that you have allies now. Now that you hooked up with me, then all my associates you have now, and who knows, there might be people who have either traveled to Arizona or been to Arizona who got time to come there. So when you say you need ideas of how to get people to come out, I got people who own community centers, people who sell tickets, people who, I know they would tell you that, like plan like a cookout or a fish fry or something like that. Invite people out. You got to make it interesting. Sometimes going to these things could be kind of boring, so people don't want to spend their time. Or you can plan it after people go, they come off for work, like later at the night, or maybe Sunday afternoon after church. Y'all go to church and then y'all do something after. So that's why we're trying to formulate these alliances, because a lot of people are trying to start too big, and like they did the California recall, they went after the governor. But we're saying we need to back down and start with your local seats, because, like, for example, Virginia, they had that gun law that passed because they had uncontested seats that were empty, that they didn't even put up a candidate in some of those seats. And that's another reason why we be losing. And sometimes we don't even show up to fight. And that's one of my big things is Republicans want to run all the time. They're like, leave the cities, leave the schools, leave this. Let's just divorce the country. And we're like, no, this is our country too. They don't get to take everything from us. So that's why I saw your fight in you, and it doesn't matter about skin color. It doesn't matter about, we're conservatives too, and we're just in different, areas of the country. And like you said, if we want to change things, we gotta fight or go down fighting. At least we trying,
Right. What else are we doing?
What else are we doing? Right.
On this earth, if we're not gonna just try to stand up for what is right.
At least we can say we did that. A lot of stuff happened before, like you were saying, you should have said this, you should have said. I feel the same way. I used to be online a lot and not showing my face. I didn't even have my face out there. I had like an avatar or whatever. And so, but after a while, they coming into your homes, they're coming into your kids' school, they're coming into your paycheck. When are you they're going to keep on coming until you do something. So I do appreciate you. I know we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I do appreciate you sitting here and telling us, and I can put this video and the audio out later, because people need to see other people. I guess some people need to see somebody else go first before they take the dive. And they're like, oh, well, if this lady, she have grown kids and she's out there and she doing it, I'm younger, or I'm this and that, and I can go do it too.
Yeah, I know people. I think you're right. Take the dive. Throw a bone out there. See who picks it up. I didn't know that this group will grow so quickly, and I'll bet you it'll hit 1,000 by next year, which is pretty powerful. So yeah, right now we need to work on more people showing up, but like you said, do something fun, and so that's a great idea. And our group is specifically ladies. We love getting together, having wine, chatting, whatever. So that you've given me some great ideas to start saying, let's go out, ladies. But yeah, everybody needs to realize we're not the minority. We are not what they are saying we are. We know that we love our country. We love each other. We don't care whether you're black or white or gay or anything. We just want freedom for everybody. And it's going to take all of us working together to do that. And people need to just take one step. You would be blown away at how many people will join you in this fight. But let's do it at the local level on your street. The funny thing is we did the Epoch Times newspaper, and they just recently switched to actually delivering it to our door instead of in our mailbox, because apparently that people have been messing around with that newspaper and not everyone's getting there. Well, I told my husband I'm going to show up, I'm going to follow them around the neighborhood next time they deliver and see which of my neighbors are having that paper thrown on their driveway, because then I know who my allies are, even here in my neighborhood. And I already know some of them, but we have our flags up, so that's kind of the first clue. But I want to find out who on this block is on my team, because they want us to feel like there's nobody around us that feels the way we do, when that couldn't be further from the truth. We are surrounded by like-minded people who love this country and who love freedom and want freedom for everybody. I want freedom for Democrats. I want freedom for leftists. I don't want it just for me. I don't want something that I'm not willing to allow someone else to enjoy. So this is too important for people to just find a way. Even if it's, like I said, call a congressman a day, email someone every day, email your mayor, find out what is going on. There are things going on in your city where you live right now that you need to have awareness of and a voice in, because you have the power to address those things and make changes where you are. We all do.
Yes, and things are changing whether you get involved or not. So it's a lot of people that said I don't vote or I don't do that, and I'm like, but it's gonna affect you. It was a while ago where it didn't seem like it was bothering you or it was coming into your homes or not. But when you see in the grocery store prices going up, the gas prices going up, wars are taking people's children. Different kind of things being taught in the schools. People can't find no jobs. Even low-paying jobs are closing up because of the you might be cool with the vaccine mandate now because you are cool with this vaccine, but what happens when you're not cool anymore? What happens when your line is crossed? Your line might not be my line, but you should want me to be there when your line is crossed so we can, work together. So that's why this channel, Ms. Pinky Thoughts, and what we do at Conscious Conservative Network is important, because I'm telling you now, you are doing something awesome because you started it on your own and it's growing. And then once you start growing, people are going to start taking notice, and you're going to need allies that have your back. And I'm going to just let you know that we're going to be right there supporting you. And you can holler at some people in Texas, people in Cali, people up north. And we just going to keep growing this thing. And they think that we're just giving up and just, Trump is lost and all that. We're going to keep fighting towards 2022, then 2024. And we got to just keep going, because this is our country too.
That's right. And we need to do more than vote. And I used to think voting was enough, but it's not enough. We need to get in there. And I listen to people online and on podcasts who say, I don't vote, I've never done that. But they're involved in so many other things, making changes. And I'm like, wow, they are doing more than I am, and they don't even vote. So I'll show up and vote and do the stuff, and something's going to work out. But yeah, you're right about the line, because I have already picked my line. This is where it ends. I'm not going to be forced to have the vaccine if I don't feel like it's the right choice for me. But I have friends and family that love it. They're so excited about it. But at some point, there's going to be something they realize is an overreach. They don't see this as an overreach yet. And my attitude is, I'm at the line back here. This is where I stopped. Now that you see that you need to pick a line, come back here to where I am and let's stand at this line together to fight this. But some people are not going to realize that they've given up a lot of freedom until it hits them upside the head. But those of us who have picked the line back here and hold it, we've given them a place to come back to, so that we can all stand together. So I think people over time, if we just have to be nice, we really do. And I'm not saying not be aggressive and truthful and deal with jerks who are jerky to us, but if we want people to listen to us, we do need to come across and say, I'm just trying to give you information. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Even if we know they're saying wacky stuff, but we do need to have a kind heart. No one's ever been converted from a hateful person. So we need to create a safe place for people to land when they wake up and go, oh my God, I just lost my job because I won't do something. Who knows what they're going to do next? But we do need to stand the line together, and people will join us. So we need to be patient because people are waking up. People who, when I think of like the Dave Rubins of the world, so many people who were complete leftists, who had a moment where they just went, oh my God, I need to stop and look at what I believe. And we're seeing that all the time right now on social media. We're seeing so many people. We have so many people. You and I both have mutual people that we follow who 2 years ago were total leftists.
Yep.
And now are the biggest voices for freedom. That doesn't mean they come over to be complete conservatives, but they are the voices for freedom, and that's what we need. We need those allies. So, yeah, people are being converted to freedom, so let's stand strong, and then our group strengthens as people wake up and come back to freedom.
I think that's a good place for us to end the podcast. This is Mrs. Pinky Thoughts. I'm here with Jona Giamalva. Did I say that? Did I get it that time?
Jona Giamalva, but that's okay. It's a tough
Giamalva. Can you tell us a little bit more where we can find you at, and you can say your pluggables?
Well, you can find me at Twitter for the sake of political chatting. I do have, I'm trying to think, I have my businesses, but I keep them out of my politics as much as I can. So Twitter's the best place to just chat and have fun. Twitter is fun. Twitter has the nicest people on it, like you. Just the nicest people. And so if you can develop a tough skin, join everybody on Twitter for just good conversations. And join me, because I love to chat. And you're right, let's connect with your group in Georgia and our group here in Gilbert, Arizona, and then find other like-minded groups across the country. And we can do this.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us on a new episode of Miss Pinky Thoughts. We'll see you next time. You guys have a good evening, and y'all stay blessed.